What's up everyone, Adelic here. Today is quite a special day. Valheim has released a new patch. Now it is tied to the public test patch. So if you want to do that, you just right click, go to properties, go down to betas, and then you'll type in this code that they have right here. Yes, I made backups. You just type that in, check code, and then you go to the drop down and do public-test, and you choose this one. It will update the game, and then when you launch it, you'll be in this, alternate version of the game. And so I'm here to just test some of the stuff that they've added, because apparently they've added quite a lot of interesting things. And the first being that I've noticed are the target dummies. Right, like we have the archery one, we have the battle brother, I guess is what he's called, which he can swing if you get close. Looks like he also can block. Oh, he throws rocks as well. And what's very interesting about the battle brother is that you actually can level up skills. So you'll see, boom, skills improved, right? And if I do a perfect block here, right? Blocking improved. So you can actually level up skills off of these things. And it's it's actually very cool. And the same can be said if I had a bow as well, right? If I hit the target dummy, now you can see that I have leveled up bows. I'm not entirely sure what that number is that is showing 9. Maybe that's like the accuracy. So if I hit on the outside, it's going to be less. If I hit even more on the outside. Yeah, okay. So it is accuracy. So obviously you would want a 10. I would assume that is the preferred number. However, see there's an 8. So if I do like here, there's a 10. I wonder if your accuracy on the archery pad here will depend on how much levels you get. So if I were to go up to skills here, my bows is, a little bit, just gonna hit right on the outside. We got a 1, okay? It barely even went up, right? That red, it barely went up. So what if I get a 10 though, right? Okay, let's see what an 8 was. Yes. So it looks like the accuracy on the archery pad will depend on how much skill level you get. So aim good. Now going down to the detailed patch notes, and we have a lot, and I mean a lot. So these are the bug fixes. I'm probably not gonna really go over them, but if you guys are interested, you could either view the patch yourself or pause here and see what you like, what you don't like. Anyways, so we're going to start from the top. New mechanics, trinkets. This is what I was talking about. Equip these items to gain adrenaline during battle. Adrenaline. And thus unlocking temporary perks. Adrenaline you gain by hitting enemies, triggering a Forsaken power, using certain magic attacks, as well as performing perfect blocks and perfect rolls, dodge rolls. When the bar is full, you gain an adrenaline surge, which gives you a temporary perk designated by your equipped trinket. Adrenaline will fade when you are not active in combat, and you will only gain adrenaline as long as you have a trinket equipped. So I'm going to see if I can find a trinket. I don't think I'm going to go over all of them. I don't necessarily want to spoil myself or, all of you, but let's just take a look. The first one we have is Black Damage Health. Black Stamina, Bronze Health, Bronze Stamina, Carapace Aether, Kite and Swim, that's an interesting one. Flame Metal Aether, Flame Metal Stamina Health, Iron Health, Iron Stamina, Scale Stamina Damage, Silver Damage, Silver Resist. So, I think I'm just gonna... oh, it's like a bracelet. Okay, let's read it. So this is the Bracelets of the Brave, aka this is the Trinket Black Damage Health one. Your mind hardens, as do your blows. Pause. Trinket weighs 2, adrenaline 85. So it looks like there is a specific resource that needs to be filled up for the adrenaline. And I could almost guarantee that all trinkets have a different value. Adrenaline effect increase mace damage and a quick health burst of regeneration. It gives 100 health. Wow. 20 to clubs. Plus 10% blunt. And the effect is 1 minute. That is pretty crazy. And you can see I have it on my wrists here. Because it's a bracelet. If I take it off, it goes away. It's actually kind of cool. I feel as if though this is probably a very beginner one, maybe? Like a very early on one. I might look at another one. But the question I have is, do I get adrenaline from beating up the battle brother here? Yes, I do. You can see the bar at the bottom there. So it looks like it's based off the damage you do, like the max damage you do. So if you land critical strikes or while they're staggered, there's the 100 health boost I just got. And now my damage is increased for a minute. And you can see the buff in the top right there. And so if we also look at the skills, you can see clubs is plus 20. So this trinket system will help with, you know, build crafting and stuff like that. Now I will say the adrenaline is something you have to maintain. It does seem to be pretty slow. This is probably for longer battles, and that's because you can see when I stop doing damage, my adrenaline will actually eventually start ticking down. There it goes. Iron health. Let's do iron health. Let's do iron health here. Boom. Pick that up. And this is what the iron brooch looks like. Kind of looks like a pearl or like a shield maybe, like a button maybe, like maybe a brooch. So yeah, see, you can see this adrenaline is 65 as opposed to the bracelets here that was 85. They also said that if you do a perfect dodge roll, you will be able to get adrenaline like that. Okay, that was a bit early. Like that. And now I have the iron brooch buff activated. And this one is supposed to give me 20 armor. And as you can see, I have 21. And 50 health. It might not be max health. It might mean healing. So with the whole trinket system, it is surrounded by adrenaline, which you can get by just doing damage, whether it's physical, projectile, or magic damage. You can perfect block or perfect roll. Doesn't really matter. Just as long as you are in combat and doing actions. And each trinket gives a different buff, as we saw between these two amongst the... How many were there? 13. Yeah, there's a lot of trinkets to really explore, but you know, I don't want to get into all of them. I don't really want to spoil myself. All right, next on the list, wooden weapons. By using wooden weapons, you can practice combat against your friends without hurting each other. And that's probably also to get skill level up, right? However, I don't have anyone on the server with me, but I'll take their word for it. All right, next up, new skill, perfect dodge roll. Dodge an attack that would have caused you damage and get a % of stamina back. Now, I feel like I would have noticed that, but I have the stamina rate off. So if I like that, you could see if you dodge, you get the stamina back that you would have lost, right? or at least half of it, it looks like. And I'm sure that this can be configured in the console. So you can see it goes down, or you can see the number as I roll, 64 up to 71. That's a pretty good change. I like that. It makes dodging a lot more rewarding. And you can see this is the new skill that they added, dodging. Next up, we got two new creatures, the bear and the vial. I'm not entirely sure, because if I type in bear, it is not here. And if I type in vial, it is also not here. I'm not entirely sure what the code name of the bear is supposed to be. The developers of Valheim are Swedish, and the Swedish word for bear is björn. I don't know why I couldn't have made that connection, but hey, I'm out here about to search the whole lands to find a bear. Anyways, so this is the new bear, Björn, and oh my god, this thing is massive. He got scars, he looks angry, ruffled fur, bro. Can we get some attacks going here? Let's see what he got, huh? Okay, a bit of a lunge attack. Holy shit. Wow, that animation is cool. He runs pretty quickly. Oh yeah, he runs. Oh yeah, he runs. Okay, double swing there. Does he get on his hind legs? Please tell me he has an attack on his hind legs. That would be really cool. I think I have God mode on. I don't think I can die here, but there's the hind leg attack. Boom. Giga damage. That is the bear, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. New addition to Valheim right here. Oh, he has a bite attack as well. So that is the new bear added to Valheim. Now, the word vial. I'm not too sure what the vial is. I see that there is a undead bear here, and I'm a bit intrigued. Oh, that's the vial. The vial is apparently an undead version of the bear. The only way I can prove that, if I spawn in an undead bear trophy, it's called a vial trophy. So it seems as if the vial is the undead bear. A bit scary. The bear itself is already scary. It doesn't look tameable. I don't get a prompt that it's wild or hungry, so it is strictly a hostile creature. I don't know where its environment is at. Moving on, we're going to go down to the new foods, which we have bear meat. Obviously, you kill the bear, drops bear meat, you eat it. The bear meat can only be cooked on the iron cooking station and not a normal campfire. Though I could be wrong. I'm not really going to test it. I mean, he's a big guy, right? This is a big slab of meat right here. So we're going to wait and see what this gives when it's fully cooked. Here we are. Cooked bear meat. And it gives 40 health, 13 stamina, and 2 HP per tick. And it lasts for 20 minutes. So it's alright, you know. Comparing it to the sausage, it's a little bit worse. So with this public test, it brings us new clothing. We have new chest armor, patterns of the bear, leg armor, loincloth of the bear, helmet, headdress of the bear, chest armor, bile bone cage. leg armor, vile bone drapes, helmet, vile bone visage, or visage, however you want to say it, and a sweatband hat. So obviously the first three items that are listed here is what this person is wearing up here, right? Other than the weapons, I guess. But he has, the headdress right here. He has the headdress, and you can see right here he has the loincloth and the boots. Moving on to the new weapon and armor. So we have two different sets here that was added, and they both, as predictable, are claw weapons or fist weapons, however you want to call it. We're going to start with the bear, or just normal bear set. And we have the headdress of the bear. We have the patterns of the bear, which I didn't expect this, but the chest piece itself is the tattoos, which is pretty cool. Then we have the loincloth of the bear, which obviously covers the loin and has some boots. And this is the whole set. This is what the armor or the weapon looks like. It is quite interesting. It looks a little goofy, I'm not gonna lie. Here's what it looks like out in the light. I think the headdress looks pretty cool though. Wearing a headdress of a bear like this is pretty badass. This is what the weapons attack looks like. Pretty similar to the just unarmed attack or fist attack. Quite predictable. But that also means it's just an infinite combo until you are out of stamina. It's not like a weapon where you have like a 2, maybe 3 or 4 hit combo and then you gotta restart the combo. With fists, it is just infinite. Obviously, the heavy attack is just the kick. And yeah. The set bonus itself gives 30% health regen, 15% stamina regen, but you become a little bit weaker to blunt, slash, and pierce damage. You also get 10% slash and 10% chop damage. The weapons themselves do 25 slash. They require a repair station level 2. The block armor is not the best, but the parry bonus is pretty good, it looks like. The backstab is pretty good as well. I just now noticed that weapons have a parry adrenaline bonus. It seems like adrenaline gained also depends on what weapon or what level of weapon you use. Moving on to the vile bear set, or vile bone set. First we have the vile bone visage. Then we have the vile bone cage and the vile bone drapes. This is what the whole set looks like. I think this looks a lot better. You kind of look like a warlock or some kind of undead control necromancer guy. This looks pretty cool, right? I mean, you got a bear skull as a shoulder pad, okay? And you're wearing the jaw of a bear on your jaw. Like that's pretty cool. I love that. Moving on, this is what it looks like with the weapons it comes with. The Vilebone Maul Claws. This is the attack pattern, as predictable, just like every other fist weapon. It is just the standard fist melee attack, and the heavy attack is just the kick. The set itself gives 20% health regen, 40% stamina regen, slightly weak to blunt, slash, and pierce, plus 20% blunt, and plus 20% pierce. And this is the Vilebone Maul Claws, 20 slash and pierce, so unlike the paws of the bear, it's not just slash, it has slash and pierce. A little bit less slash, but more pierce, a lot more pierce. So the Vilebone Maul Claws will definitely do more damage, unless you are going against undead things. But this thing will probably shred trolls, alright, I'm not gonna lie. The backstab is the same, parry adrenaline is the same, parry bonus is the same, and the block force is the same. The block armor is also the same. So yeah, that has to do it with the new armor sets and new weapons. And I gotta say, I think I have a favorite of the two. And for any of you who want to know what the sweatband looks like, it's just a sweatband. It is strictly cosmetic, one armor. I mean, you know, it's just a cosmetic item. That is what the sweatband looks like, for anyone wondering. Moving on to the new weapons. So we have Bottled Blob. We have Poison Oozer, Tar, Lava, and Frost. We could obviously probably take a very good guess. These are probably items that we can throw to cause the effects that they are known for. So Poison will poison the enemy. Oozer will ooze the enemy. Tar will probably slow them. Lava will burn them. Frost will freeze them. I probably won't get too much into it. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory. This is the wooden weapons they were talking about earlier. So we got wooden sword, great sword, axe, two-handed axe, mace, sledge, spear, at-gear, and knife. These are the things that you can hit your friends with, and it will do no damage. It is strictly for practicing, PvP practicing, probably leveling up skills, so on and so forth. We already checked out the paws of the bear and the vile bone of the maw claws, but they did add a new weapon, battle axe. So there's a black metal battle axe and a skull splitter. So let's go ahead and look at those. All right, so here we have the black metal battle axe and the skull splitter. So it is a two-handed weapon. My character's not quite holding it right. It's probably something that needs to be fixed, but you know, it is just a test realm. They gotta iron all the stuff out, and it's fine. It's okay. This is what the attack pattern will look like. It is a three-piece attack. 1, 2, and 3. The heavy attack is just a little poke. Very quick, especially compared to the sword, which has a wind-up that takes way too long. Looking at the black metal battle axe stats, it has 110 slash. Wow. 70 block force, 2 times parry, so not that much. Not that much backstab either. Its knockback is pretty decent, but it also gives minus 15% movement speed. Looking at the skull splitter, it is also a two-handed battle axe. It has 130 slash, which is not too far off from the black metal battle axe, but it pretty much has the same stats other than the damage. It also looks a little teal looking. And it has the same attack pattern and the same heavy attack. So those are the two new battle axes that were added, or going to be added, I guess. And I gotta say, this battle axe looks pretty cool. So we have already looked at trinkets. These are the names of all of them, not the names that are listed in the console, but rather the actual name of the item. So we have Heart of the Forest, Bronze Pendant, Iron Brooch, Nimble Anklet, Crystal Heart, Wolf Sight, that's an interesting one, Fins of Destiny, Evasion Mantle, Bracelets of the Brave, Pulsating Earrings, Resounding Shackle, Jormundling, okay, and then Brimstone. I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Jormundling.
Yeah, what that said.
Jormundling.
Yep. That's how you pronounce it, guys. Yep. We have new build pieces with this blade test. We have combat stuff, which we also saw. The archery target, battle brother, and a bearskin rug, which you can get, obviously, from killing the bear. This is about what it looks like. I'm sure it will break because it's not on sturdy platform, but... Oh, wait, use. Oh, you can sit on it. What the hell? Okay. Apparently you can sit on the head of the rug, which is a bit interesting, but... This is about what it would look like if it was on a proper floor. You can imagine it, but just looks like a stereotypical bear rug. Just Valheim's bear. It looks kind of cool. I definitely would have this in my max comfort home in Valheim. That is very cool. All right, moving on. We have new locations. Here it is. This is the combat ring. It has an evil bone pile. It's just gonna spawn skeletons indefinitely, I guess. So you can keep the spawner here. It actually looks like, which is very interesting. You can break the evil bone pile, but it looks like it's just acting as if it's like a dungeon on Minecraft. You know, just a spawner that you probably can just infinitely farm, right? It's very interesting because it's skeletons in the meadows, right? Like this is the meadows, and they are encased inside this Colosseum-like compound. They added 3 new hairstyles and 5 new beards. And this is the fixes and improvements, including the combat changes, where perfect block will no longer cost stamina, reduce movement speed, penalty on battle axes, sledgehammers, and tower shields. Very nice. Vertical fighting improvements, now easier to hit enemies in slope. This is the rebalance of Forsaken powers. Eikthyr, 60% reduced stamina usage for running, jumping, and swimming. The Elder, 60% chopping and mining damage increased. 30% health regeneration increase. That's pretty nice. Okay, the Elder one used to be probably one of the worst ones. Now it probably has some, more use to it. Bone mass, 25% resistance to physical damage, 100% reduced block stamina usage, and 5 stamina on return. I think that means with the block, you probably get 5 stamina on return for... Oh, yeah, per block. Okay, it literally says it. Motor, always tailwind, just like before. 300 increased carry weight, 10% increased movement speed, and 50% frost resistance. That is pretty crazy. Though I do think people will still use this for traversing the world with a boat more than they would with, the movement speed and the 50% frost resistance. But having something like this along with Modder is pretty fucking great. Moving on to Yagluth, 50% lightning damage reduction, 25 farming skill, and 10% increased damage. That's interesting. It's very interesting. The Queen, 100% increase Eikthyr regeneration, 100% reduce sneak cost, and 50% poison resistance. So I'm pretty sure Yagluth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure before Yagluth used to be like just the same way Bone Mass was. It was 25% poison, fire, frost resistance, right? There wasn't this farm skill or damage increase, but it looks like they have spread out Yagluths to other ones. So the Queen now has the poison resistance, and Fader has the fire resistance, and then Modder has frost resistance. So Fader, 100% adrenaline increase. So Fader now has a Forsaken power that benefits the new Adrenaline edition. 50% reduced stagger meter modifier, and 50% fire resistance. This is item stands. These are things that can now be placed on item stands. If any of you are interested on it, that's what it is. These are new item stands, positions and orientation for some items. These are all the items. If you guys just want to pause and read it, this is what it is. Things that can probably rotate better on item stands now. I believe that's probably going to do it for what is coming for Valheim. I'm going to be honest, it looks pretty promising. Once when they fine-tune this patch and iron out all the bugs and stuff like that, I think this patch could be pretty good. And I think this is a direction that Valheim should go. Like, don't get me wrong, this game has always been great, and every update I look forward to. And seeing this update and how big a minor update can be, it really gives me joy and hope for the Deep North and when that comes out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, until next time.